Hello, my sweet friends. Your host Shurma here. A very warm welcome to my art channel, and I'm so glad you chose to stop by today. Let's learn to paint a floral bunch in today's episode. The floral bunch would be having some pretty pink flowers and blue blossoms. It would be great if you choose to paint along with me. So, let's get started. Here is the list of supplies which I would be using for today's painting. So let's begin with chapter 1, that is creating the background for the painting. To start with, I have 3 elements with me. The first one is a white side folding card base. It is around 4.7 inches by 5.7 inches. The next one is a white watercolor piece which is 4 by 5 inches in size, and I have another black piece of cardstock which just fits around as a frame on the white watercolor piece, and this is how I am going to put them together towards the end of the tutorial. So let's work with the white watercolor piece for the time being. So here I have a masking tape in hand, and I'm going to mask off all the 4 sides because I'm going to work with watercolors to create the background. Once I'm done with the masking, I place the white watercolor piece on an absorbent piece of tissue paper, and I'm going to work with liquid watercolors now. I'm using a flat brush number 4, and I'm spreading some water on the left hand corner of the white watercolor piece. After that, I go ahead and drop some pink liquid watercolor, and I'm trying to spread it carefully so as not to cover the entire paper with that particular pink color. I'm using a tissue paper to absorb the extra color from the paper. Next, I go ahead and add more of water to make it lighter. Thereafter, I repeat the process with gray watercolor towards the left hand bottom corner of the paper. Once happy with the background, I leave the paper to dry. That leads us to chapter 2. Painting the pink roses. I would be creating the rose bunch on the left side of the paper, hence I removed a little part of the masking tape from there, and you will know why in a bit. Meanwhile, this is the palette for the pink florals. I have permanent rose, light pink, white acrylic, purple and deep magenta on my palette. These are all acrylic colors. I'm using flat brush number 6, and I'm loading it with permanent rose and light pink, and I'm also adding a bit of white to it, and this is triple loading of the brush. I blend the colors well, and that will help me to achieve awesome results. Next, I bring in my flat brush number 4, and I have dipped it in permanent rose, and I'm just creating a very loose form of a floral because here I will be painting 2 pink roses. So this is the first of the pink roses. I also go ahead and add a bit of deep magenta to the center of that loose floral image. Next, I bring in my flat brush number 6, and remember I have already loaded it with permanent rose, light pink and white. Here I begin with the first layer of the petals of the first rose. So here you have the floral bunch in the making. I would be using the decorative stroke art technique, wherein I use more than one color on a flat brush to create beautiful floral images. By working with multiple colors on a single brush helps me to create highlights as well as shading in a single stroke of the brush. And that is the beauty of the decorative stroke art technique. Now in this floral bunch, I would be creating a couple of pink roses and some very pretty tiny blue blossoms. Friends, I believe flowers are the most delightful creation of the Almighty. Their sight is a joy forever, and I simply love them. They are delicate, living things that excite our imagination. They inspire faith in the Creator and cause thanksgiving and praise to flow to Him, right? Vibrant, colorful flowers bring us happiness and help us to bring that $1,000,000 smile on our faces. Flowers offer hope and courage to face challenges of our lives too. I chose to paint pink and blue flowers today because blue is serene and calming, and it represents intelligence and responsibility. Blue roses also represent true love, and they are used to show affection and appreciation. On the other hand, pink roses symbolize grace, admiration, gratitude, comfort, and joy. I recently came across a beautiful piece of writing. In fact, just a few lines, but extremely profound, and I would like to share them with you. Here it goes. After the darkness, the daylight shines through. After the showers, the rainbow's in view. After life's heartaches, there comes from above the peace and the comfort of God's healing love. Isn't that so warm and nice? And very uplifting. Makes my spirit smile. On that note, I'm back to the painting. So here I'm trying to fix the inner part of the flower. I'm switching from deep magenta to rose and white to create the deep center of the flower. Here comes the second floral, and that is another pink rose. But here it is just a side view. So let's see how I try and create it. I'm still using the flat brush number 6 loaded with acrylic colors, permanent rose, light pink and white. So here the rose flower can be seen from the side, and here I'm creating the base for the stem, which comes a bit later. That leads us to the next chapter, that is painting the foliage. So here comes the palette for the foliage. I have sap green, deep green, yellow acrylic and white acrylic. I am loading the flat brush with sap green, yellow and white. This is triple loading of the brush, and yes, I need to blend the colors well. I can use any of these colors and create various combinations. I go ahead and remove a bit of the masking tape once more because some of the leaves would be crossing over to the margin. Next, I bring in my liner brush with deep green on it, and I'm just creating some random stems here and there, and that will help me to decide where to place the leaves. Here I am creating the base for the second pink floral, and that's the stem. At this point I am bringing in my flat brush number 6 loaded with sap green, yellow and white. Here I'm using the Decorative One stroke technique to create pretty leaves. Do you like what you see? Would you like to know more about this beautiful decorative stroke art technique? Then in that case, I would encourage you to please visit my past floral art tutorials, and I would be very happy to drop some of the links in the description box below. Also, if you happen to click on the link which appears on the right hand corner of this particular screen, that will also lead you to some of my floral tutorials. I switch between dark green and sap green with the combination of yellow and white along with that, and that helps to create variation in the colors of the leaves. Hope you're enjoying the process so far. Now let's create some blue blossoms. Having said that, I need to have light blue, Prussian blue and white acrylic on my palette, and this is a flat brush number 4 and I'm loading it with all the 3 colors, and this is the combination for the little blue blossoms. So here are the tiny blue blossoms which I am creating just around the edge of the first pink rose, and some more tiny ones just below that as if hanging from a stem. In the next step, I bring in my liner brush once again, and I have deep green on it, and I'm creating some stems to connect the blue flowers. Once happy, I go back to the second rose flower and fix the base and the stem. I continue with the liner brush and deep green on it, and I'm creating some stems to connect the leaves to the main image, followed by some vines and some green and white leaves to add some interest to the painting. Next, I go ahead and bring in my liner brush with acrylic yellow on it, and I create the flower center for the pink roses as well as the tiny blue blossoms. Next, I go ahead and bring back my flat brush number 4 with permanent rose and white on it and create some very tiny pink buds. Once done, I go ahead and remove the masking tape from all the 4 sides of the painted panel. So now it's time to assemble all the different elements and create a pretty floral bunch note card. So the 3 elements are the white card base, the black frame and the painted panel which has a sentiment printed on it. So once assembled, this is how the note card appears to be. And dear friends, that's a wrap on today's project. Did you enjoy watching me create the floral bunch on the note card? I would definitely love to hear from you, so please go ahead and leave your comments, your thoughts and queries in the box below. Also, please connect with me on my social media handles and I would be delighted to be in touch with you. Immense thanks to each one of you for all the beautiful comments you leave me, your support and love for my channel. I deeply appreciate all of that, and yes, thanks for watching till the end. Here are some of my past floral painting tutorials. You might like them too. We'll be back very soon with more interesting tutorials. Till then, stay tuned, take good care of yourself, and bye-bye.